to importers or directly growers to wholesalers. So that's something that we are working on. Currently, our like processing provider in this case doesn't have like all the integrations to those countries, but we are working with other providers to be able to have all that reach that we want. We are also working on another account, basically in Europe, where we will be able also to have those European countries also working with the Coronet payment system and in the Coronet network. So it's something that for now we emphasize on these particular countries, but it's something that we are working to expand to Latam, Europe, and other markets, and that's coming very soon in Coronet payments as well.
Thank you, Simon, for that. So as you can see, it's not a static tool or functionality. It's a functionality that it is playing well with others, and it's projected to grow. Once we're all set up, like I said, it's a self-onboarding process. It's as easy as that, but we want to make sure we guide you through and enable you to understand not just that you're set up and ready to go within less than 10 minutes. Your Comet account, it's validated typically, and we're good to start transacting once if we have all the information needed for the validation. Once our Coronet payment functionality is enabled through setup settings, again, if we're already running on Comet, we can see, excuse me. All right, let's give it a second. Okay, this is. Okay, let's see if that one loads there. That worked. Once it's enabled, we're able, this is a demo account, everyone, so I do apologize, and this is a live demo. Once Comet is enabled, we're able to work with the actual functionality and scale it so that it reaches our e-commerce sales channel. One of the things I want to highlight is how Comet Payments empowers not just the payment processing to be a finance or bookkeeping or accounting functionality, but it actually reaches and it's embedded within the sales process through the invoicing or creation of invoices within Comet and our invoicing module, or literally becomes a payment processor that strengthens the actual scope that our functionality to purchase online has, to where it's not just a purchasing tool, it's now a tool to purchase items and fill your inventory and also pay against your aging, your open balances. The other thing I want to mention is payment links. I know this is a new functionality that was recently released. Simon, did you want to, and I don't want to just talk to Simon, but Simon is he's the man of the hour with developing all of these awesome tools. Can you talk to us about payment links and let us know how this is going to improve, or how this is intended to improve the flow?
Yeah, absolutely, George. And I think you touched on a very important feature. And the thing with payment links is it's like a changing mentality as well. It's just not like just a new payment channel or a payment medium. It's also like the putting the buyer in the center as well, and having the buyer have options when it comes to payments. And we know that having that flexibility, that optionality is always good for the buyer and also for the merchant, because that translates to faster collection times, better customer satisfaction, more recurrence of payments with this type of relationships that you can build by having a good buyer experience. So let's talk about payment links. Basically, what we are doing is an automation that is linked to the invoicing system of the ERP or the e-commerce. So you can think of this like an end-to-end automation from sales to payment, where there's no need for manual interaction or human interaction, or at least it reduces that to the minimal expression by giving more time for the accounts receivable analyst to do other tasks that are probably more important and more relevant for the day to day than just going and processing a payment that is also prone to errors. And we can talk like hours about discrepancies and data entry errors when we are reconciling. But with payment links, we are abstracting that process. We are leaving technology do what's best, that is automating things for humans, and we are giving a better experience to the buyer. So the process consists of embedding payment links inside of every invoice. Um, so when an invoice is generated and sent to a final customer or a customer, then that invoice will have a payment link. And when the buyer accesses that link inside the invoice, they will go to a portal where they can basically pay for that specific order that's in question. So a couple of things. This payment link will have real-time synchronization with the invoicing system and the AR. So for example, if the account receivable analyst applies a partial payment to the AR for that order, but it's not completely paid, the buyer will see an updated link with the updated value of the order. So we are keeping the systems tightly together to avoid any discrepancies or the need for overpayments or something like that. So basically, by having this integration, we are ensuring that we have faster collection time for the merchant, a better experience for the buyer, and we are mitigating discrepancies and reconciliation problems. So the other thing is in the ERP, we have this automation where invoices are sent daily if you have that automation enabled as a vendor. And that, in conjunction with the payment link, is very powerful. But that means that you basically are given the possibility that every invoice that you send has a payment link, and you are increasing your chances of basically getting paid much faster than in a traditional way where you have to call for example, you have to call your buyer, and this is very common pattern in the industry where the accounts receivable analyst is calling a buyer and see if they can make a payment. They are validating if they can charge this specific card, and there can arise like problems with disputes and all that. But by giving the experience and the final say of how to pay to the buyer, you are mitigating a lot of those risks and of those barriers to the payment. So I think in a nutshell, that's what payment links is about. It's about automation, reducing manual work, and increasing the satisfaction of the buyer experience for specific payments.
Thank you, Simon, for that. I know and I'm trying to replicate that link, that email, so that you can see what the payment looks like. The payment link looks like on the invoice, but definitely that contemplating the flow as an end-to-end flow and not having so many stops along the way where it hinders from having or being able to efficiently manage the operation. I think, like Simon said, let our financial team not be data entry clerks. Let's have them be controllers of the data information. Let's have them gather insights of the data. Let's have them focus on the payments that are not successful. AJ, I don't know if you have anything to add to the mix of what your take is on payment links and how this obviously adds to the whole payment processing empowerment within Coronet.
I think it's about meeting customers where they are, right? Accounts payable is the number one thing that companies say they want to do automation on, or they want to make easier. It's, a cumbersome process. And so, giving people a chance to pay right where they are, makes things easier on them. And I always think like nothing's going to get in the way more of your next sale than trying to collect money for your previous one. And so making things, easy right where people are is about a better customer experience and making payment more transparent to something that just happens. And then again, as Simon said, like spending time on AR, sort of chasing customers isn't great. And especially if those customers want to pay, right? If they're not a customer that's in trouble or overdue, they just want it to be easy. And so it's about, not about like badgering your customer, but about just giving them choices and options and meeting them where they already are.
Absolutely, absolutely, and giving them options. And the funny thing is, I recently had a meeting with a customer. Payment links, is a newer functionality, and I'm sorry, I'm having problems here in setting that email to display it to you. But customers are already asking for it, so and it's and the ask is falling off the tip of their tongue. Is an organic Uh, addition to the flow. We're not interrupting business as usual. We're enhancing it. And I really hope, like, as we talk about technological tools and how it enhances your operation, that you see it that way, as an enhancement and not as a replacement, because the idea is that you can do way more. And AJ said, we're here to do high level, complex analysis, not get bored, clicking buttons and processing transactions or doing data entry. We want to empower you by enhancing you with these technological tools. Um, I will be owing you the payment link, so we could definitely have that on a follow-up session. Let me go ahead and continue. I am able to process payments not just as an accounts receivable process, but as we're literally creating or closing out an invoice order. Here you can see, for those of you that are already operating under Comet, we can see our order screen where we've confirmed the order, and now it's giving us the options to pay. Um, Excuse me, my mouse is really sensitive today. Let's edit this order and process payment. So we have the option to pay and confirm. This is all according to the way the account has been set up. We can then select our payment method, ACH or credit cards. Just so you know, with Comet Payments, you're able to easily manage the storing of the customer's credit card information. We are in compliance. AJ, as it relates to security, can you give us some input, what PCI compliance means, and how certain our customers can be that their information is safe?
Sure. So PCI compliance, or the short form for payment card industry data security standard, sets rules for how card information has to be protected and secured. And we actually rely on partners that have the highest possible level of compliance, and in our case, don't actually hold the card number ourselves. So we are abstracting it away another layer to ensure the highest possible security and compliance. So it's important to know that even though when someone looks like they're entering their card information, it is going all the way through, to the most secure level vault. Additionally, the ACH information encryption here follows the same, level of security. And so, we're making sure that this information is as safe and as secure as possible, and that no matter what happens to you, or to us, that this information will be secure. And I think we all know we're in an elevated period of risk from bad actors, and so we take that incredibly seriously and want to make sure that this information is as protected as possible.
Thank you, AJ, for that. And it's not just about protecting information as we're storing it, but also the way in which we request the information. Customers no longer have to give us their information over the phone or via email or text message. We can easily send them a form via email that they can complete. And the form will literally look something like this whenever we're entering a new payment method, where they're actually able to enter credit card information or ACH payment information. Uh, uh, Simon, anything you want to mention on ACH or credit cards?
Other what AJ mentioned, I think it's pretty important. We have the highest standard of compliance, PCI compliance, level 1 with the processor that we are using. So that's really a security layer that cannot be overstated. And over other traditional payment methods like checks, where fraud can be much more prevalent, or cash, even because of the security reasons of having cash in your possession. All that contributes to having a riskier profile for your business than transacting through credit cards or ACH that is stored encrypted in a very safe vault. Another thing that we do for security, now that we are on that topic, is we are doing